Streaming was supposed to kill piracy for good. Instead, in 2024, piracy is bigger than ever: 216 billion visits, tens of billions of dollars in lost revenue, and millions of people returning to illegal sites they once abandoned. How did we go from Netflix's golden age with $7.99 a month and everything in one place to a $13 billion streaming disaster, even worse than cable? The answer reveals an industry that had the solution and then, out of sheer greed, threw it all away. So what did they forget that changed everything? Napster hit the internet in 1999 like a bomb. Suddenly, millions could grab any song they wanted, anytime, for free. Within 2 years, the music industry's revenue plummeted from $14.6 billion to $6.3 billion, a collapse that sent executives into full-blown panic. Their answer was lawyers. Metallica's Lars Ulrich arrived at Napster's offices with a list of over 300,000 usernames, demanding bans. The Recording Industry Association of America piled on, unleashing lawsuits not just against Napster, but against college students, single moms, and even kids. Napster fell, but the supposed victory was hollow. Kazaa, LimeWire, and BitTorrent filled the gap overnight. While the industry waged war in courtrooms, legal customers faced a gauntlet of punishments. DVD discs came with unskippable warnings that said you wouldn't steal a car, warnings only the paying public had to watch. Pirates got clean files, instant downloads, no guilt trips, no region locks. For a decade, the industry spent billions trying to scare people straight. Nothing worked. Every lawsuit, every warning, every DRM lock just made piracy look smarter. The real problem was not lawbreaking. It was that piracy was easier, faster, and less annoying than buying music legally. The industry did not just lose the fight, they never even understood what game they were playing. Netflix didn't just offer streaming, it delivered a revelation. In 2007, for $7.99 a month, anyone could press play and watch nearly anything. No more hunting for downloads, no sketchy sites, no region locks or missing seasons. By 2010, Netflix's library had become a cultural feast with Friends, The Office, Breaking Bad, Disney classics, and HBO hits all in one place, on demand. It was the golden age of streaming, and for a brief moment it felt like the internet had finally gotten something right. Piracy, once the default for anyone wanting quick and easy access, started to look like a chore. The Pirate Bay's traffic slumped as millions realized they could pay a few bucks and get a better experience. No viruses, no waiting, no guilt trips. The industry's decade-long war on piracy hadn't moved the needle, but Netflix's simple service did. Gabe Newell, the founder of Valve, said that piracy is a service problem, not a pricing problem. Netflix proved him right. When the legal option became easier than the illegal one, people stopped pirating. No threats or lawsuits required. For a few years, the formula was perfect. One service, one price, everything you wanted. The dream that streaming could end piracy had come true, not because of crackdowns or scare tactics, but because someone finally built a product people actually liked. That victory wouldn't last, but for a while, Netflix stood as the hero that did what the entire entertainment industry could not. The dream of one-stop streaming did not die quietly. It was chopped up and sold for parts. In October 2019, Disney pulled its entire catalog off Netflix and launched Disney Plus at $6.99 a month, telling families to pay up if they wanted to keep watching Frozen. NBC took The Office and put it behind a new paywall called Peacock. HBO Max, Paramount Plus, and Apple TV Plus all followed, each convinced they could grab their own piece of Netflix's magic. Suddenly, the shows and movies that once lived together under a single roof were scattered across a dozen new services, each demanding its own monthly fee. The content that used to be simple to find was now scattered across apps and logins. The math turned ugly fast. To watch what used to be on Netflix, a household now needed 6, 8, sometimes 12 subscriptions. The bill was $100 to $180 every month, double what most people paid for cable. Netflix, once the budget hero at $8.99, raised its price to $15.49, a 72% jump in 5 years. Disney Plus, the supposed bargain, leapt from $6.99 to $15.99, a 129% increase. HBO Max's ultimate plan rose to $20.99. The only thing that stayed consistent was the steady upward slope of charges on your credit card. Bob Iger, Disney's chief executive officer, did not try to hide the playbook. He told investors, "We would love to have the margins Netflix has." Translation: squeeze customers until they squeak. The companies that promised to kill cable bloat rebuilt it. More expensive, more confusing, and without the old perks like channel bundles or universal search. For viewers, the magic of streaming curdled into a monthly wallet drain. The promise of everything anytime one click was replaced by a scavenger hunt through apps and passwords, each gate demanding its toll. What was once simple became a headache, and people started to wonder why they ever cut the cord in the first place. Netflix's 2017 tweet said, "Love is sharing a password." It was more than a marketing stunt. It became a meme, a badge of honor, the company's unofficial promise that streaming belonged to everyone in the family, no matter where they lived. Friends, siblings, long-distance couples, even military families stationed overseas. Everyone shared. And Netflix winked at the practice. The message was clear. We get you. We are not like those other greedy companies. Behind the scenes, though, the spreadsheets told a different story. By 2019, Netflix executives were quietly planning a crackdown. The company knew tens of millions of accounts were being shared outside households. But as long as subscriber numbers kept climbing, the love campaign kept running. It was only after the first subscriber loss in a decade, 200,000 vanished in early 2022, triggering a historic stock crash, that the gloves finally came off. In May 2023, Netflix flipped the script. Suddenly, the same behavior they had celebrated was branded as theft. If you wanted to keep sharing with your college kid, your partner across town, or your elderly mom in another state, that would now cost $6.99 per extra member. The policy did not just hit freeloaders, it swept up students locked out of family accounts mid-semester. A grandmother undergoing chemotherapy, watching Netflix on her daughter's iPad from a hospital bed, was told to pay up or lose access. Years of love is sharing turned overnight into pay or get lost. Competitors wasted no time copying the move. Disney, Hulu, and HBO Max all rolled out their own password crackdowns. The industry that once prided itself on being consumer-friendly now treated loyal paying customers like suspects. The betrayal cut deep. For millions, it was not just about money, it was the realization that the streaming giants saw them as revenue streams first and people second. The trust that made streaming feel different from cable was gone, replaced by a sense of being nickel and dimed at every turn. People did not just get angry, they got creative. Locked out and fed up, many turned to the one option that still worked for everyone, everywhere, with no extra fees or surprise lockouts: piracy. The password crackdown did not just fail to stop sharing, it taught a new generation exactly where to look when trust runs out. HBO's Westworld vanished from streaming in 2022, just months after its final season aired. The series had cost over $70 million to produce, it had built a cult following, and it anchored HBO's brand of prestige television. One day, subscribers logged in to watch, only to find the entire show erased. No warning, no explanation, not even the dignity of a goodbye screen. The reason was not low ratings or expired rights. Warner Brothers Discovery had discovered a new profit trick: delete finished shows to avoid paying residuals, then write off the cost for taxes. Westworld was not alone. Over $3 billion worth of content was wiped from HBO Max's library in a single year. Finished series, documentaries, and even children's programming disappeared mid-watch, their existence reduced to a line in an accountant's spreadsheet. The promise had always been clear: build your digital library, stream whenever you want, never worry about scratched discs or out-of-print DVDs. The reality was brutal: you own nothing. Streaming companies can and do delete anything, anytime, for any reason that helps their bottom line. The phrase "available now" has never felt more temporary. While viewers were still reeling from content vanishing overnight, another betrayal arrived, this time with commercials. Streaming's original pitch was simple: pay a monthly fee, watch without ads. That was the deal. By 2024, the deal was dead. Netflix, which once prided itself on ad-free viewing, now locked ad-free access behind its most expensive tier. Disney Plus and HBO Max followed suit. But the most brazen move came from Amazon Prime. In January 2024, Amazon added ads to Prime Video for every subscriber, no opt-out, no warning. The only way to get rid of them was to pay even more. People who had paid for ad-free found their shows interrupted by commercials for cars, fast food, and Amazon's own products. Ad tiers multiplied across every service. The $15.49 you paid for Netflix in 2024 was just the starting price if you wanted to skip the ads. Disney Plus doubled its price in 5 years and still pushed commercials unless you paid the premium. HBO Max's ultimate plan hit $20.99 per month, just to preserve the experience that used to be standard. The streaming revolution had come full circle, selling back the same ad clutter model that drove people away from cable in the first place. For viewers, the message was unmistakable. The platforms that once promised permanence and freedom from commercials now offer neither. Shows you love can disappear for a tax break. The ad-free experience costs more than ever, and even then it is never guaranteed. The only thing streaming services seem to deliver reliably is the sense that you are being charged more for less. As the digital shelves empty and commercials flood in, the old fear of piracy, losing access, or getting a worse product suddenly feels backwards. At least the pirates never delete your library, and they never make you watch an ad. Piracy didn't just creep back in, it came roaring through the front door. By 2020, piracy sites drew 141 billion visits a year. 4 years later, that number hit 216 billion. That is a 53% surge, and it is not just a return to the old days, it is a new record. These are not just bored teenagers in basements. Nearly 76% of Gen Z and millennials who pirate also pay for at least one streaming service. They are not choosing between the legal option and the illegal option. They are doing both because the legal product no longer delivers what they want. The numbers tell a story executives refuse to read. TV and film piracy now make up nearly half of all illegal traffic, with 96.8 billion visits in 2024. Anime, prestige TV, and blockbusters, anything that is split across platforms or geo-locked, ends up on piracy sites within hours. The supposed solution of stacking subscriptions just taught people how to find everything in one place for free. Modern piracy platforms are not the sketchy, pop-up riddled messes of the LimeWire era. They are slick, fast, and easy to use. Aggregator sites pull together shows and movies from every corner of the internet. Plex and Jellyfin let users build their own private Netflix, complete with 4K streams, personal recommendations, and no ads. Content never disappears. There are no region blocks, and nothing interrupts your show with a car commercial. This is not a fringe rebellion. In India, 51% of media consumers pirate content regularly, even as streaming subscriptions skyrocket. In Sweden, a quarter of people admit to pirating, led by ages 15 to 24. In the US, the world's richest streaming market, piracy rates are higher than ever, and the financial damage is impossible to ignore. Industry analysts peg the direct losses from this piracy surge at $13 billion by 2027, a conservative estimate given how much of the market is now underground. The irony is almost too rich. Streaming companies spent $52 billion on content in 2023, hoping to lure subscribers with exclusives and originals. Instead, they built a buffet for pirates. The more they fragment, hike prices, and restrict access, the more they drive users to the one place that still feels simple, permanent, and complete. Piracy has become the default backup plan, a meta service that fills every gap left by corporate greed. The platforms that once promised to end piracy have, through their own decisions, made it the best product on the market. And now, as the numbers climb and the losses pile up, the industry is left to wonder why people are walking out the door they left wide open. Streaming's collapse into fragmentation and price hikes is not just a corporate blunder, it is a masterclass in forgetting why people pay at all. In 2024, more viewers choose piracy because it is simply the better product. Until the industry stops chasing short-term gains and rebuilds trust, every crackdown just fuels the fire they started. The path of least resistance always wins. What would actually make you come back?